Welcome to my designer class. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made this alternative for the Poppin birthday March paper pumpkin. I think it's really fun. This is called a pop-up slider card, and I got this idea from Dawn's Stamping Thoughts. So it's so cool. You just raise it up and this pops up and it reveals a hidden message. So we will get started with, I will show you my template that I created. So I think it's just adorable, love this card. All right, so my template. Here are my instructions. You'll need your base, another sheet exactly the same distance, height and so forth, to go behind it. And what is inside is this little slider. So it is sort of an optical illusion. That's the best way to explain it. And I will just get started in showing you. But I will say that this eventually attaches here. So then it pulls this upward. So it is a lot of fun, this card. I love fun folds. So I was really excited to do this one. I will bring in my base now. So the first measurement, the first cut I will do is the 3/4. So you line this up, the best way to explain it, on the ruler. This is 3/4 overhang, kind of. And then on the ruler, that's where you measure 3/4. So I'm going to start cutting at the 3/4 mark and work my way down till, where did I put that? I cut so it's 3/4 this way. So it would be 4 3/4. Okay. Sorry about that. I will try to do a little better here. Sometimes you kind of like forget things when you're doing one of these tutorials. So, okay, so up to 3/4. And I'm pretty much there. Now you will cut the bottom side. So to do this, I'm going to again put it at the 3/4 over here and start, and we're just joining it up. So it's at 3.5 and we're going to go to 3/4. I just want to, okay. So that is all for the cutting portion of this. And if you didn't quite get it, you just take your little snips in here and just kind of finish the cut mark, which I will do. All right. Now, for this next part, it's scoring. And I take the cut end, the bottom end, and that's where I measure. So I turn it this way. So we're going to go like here. And this is going to be 1 1/4 inches. So here we go. Oh, and you drop it at the 3/4 mark because we're only scoring way between, that rectangle area between the cuts, essentially. Okay, then here, I hope I have this in screen. I think I didn't actually. I'm going to have it at 3 inches. So you just slide it to 3 inches and then score. And then you move this down to 4 3/4. So here we go. I'll just set that aside. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. And I think it looks really, really cool. So the next part is just burnishing, and it looks like I do not have my tool here, but it's okay. We'll manage. So it's valley and mountain folds, and what you'll have when you're done is something like this. So it'll slide up. It's already fun. Okay, enough playing though. Okay, the next part I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark where I want my little oval which is a half circle. So I have a 1-inch little circle template cut out here. And the reason, you could just do this like guessing, but I'm not very good at that. So it makes me feel a little better just to make a little mark. And then I'll come in with my 1-inch punch. And oh yeah, I had this one idea. I don't know if this is gonna work because it is kind of a little thick. This is actually a base to the paper pumpkin, so, but we'll try this out and punch them both at the same time. Because, yeah, that worked pretty well. Okay, so now I'm definitely committed to that being the top. But I wanted it to line up just right, if you know what I mean. So the next part, we're going to adhere this to our little piece of paper here. Now, you want to really, really make sure that there's no, like, you're short here or you're too far here. If you're too far here, you'll actually see a white and you can't straighten it. Does that make sense? All right, so I am going to use some liquid adhesive here, and I'm just going to do this part right here. Now this is slightly wider, which is what you want because you want it to be able to stay inside the track, if you will. So what I like to do is just have it a little high, and because I have liquid glue, I can just slide it right into place. I'm going to check here and it's not quite right. So I'm just going to adjust it until it's perfect. And I do not have it perfect yet, but I have that little wiggle room time. And it is easier to do this off camera. Everything is easier off camera. But I wanted to show just how it is very simple and it's very easy to do that. So now that we have that in place, I will go ahead and start attaching this back panel. So I guess it doesn't matter if that's lined up 100% because this will be in the way. All right, so I'm just going to use a little bit of glue here and adhere it. This glue really holds well. You could use tear and tape, but if you didn't get it lined up perfectly, it might not be so good. So I think the liquid adhesive is probably the best. So of course you would want to write your message on the back here if you decide to write something. So I am planning on making this for my niece who is going to be turning 19, and I cannot believe that she will be 19. And it doesn't seem that long ago when I was about that age, so I thought I would show an old picture I have framed. And in this picture, I have my little dog Lexi. She was a beautiful little poodle. And this was probably taken when I was like 22 years old. So it was a few years ago. That was right shortly before I met my husband. So anyway, just a little picture from yesteryear. I will now go ahead and we'll start the stamping. I did a lot of stamping inside. You can definitely embellish and pop up this part, but the inside of your card, you cannot do that because you want it to be able to slide freely. See what I mean? If you did something else, you wouldn't get that. But real quick, I did want to go ahead, I did like this little touch, which was to add this little decorative ribbon at the bottom. It definitely made it a nice little kind of, this is hard to do on camera. I need to get some leverage. Okay, there. I think the problem was I locked my ribbon punch thing. Okay, so this part, oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing it upside down. Oh well, it'll work. Just maybe not ideally. But today I'm doing things the hard way, I think. Do you ever have one of those days where you feel like you're doing everything the hard way? I think that's my day today. All right, but I got it upside down. And it really does do a good job. So even upside down, you can see I somehow managed. So, all right, I'll just get rid of that little mess. So because this slides, sometimes it kind of slides over a little, I do suggest not going right up to there with this. So I'm going to cut this a little after the fact, but for now I kind of want that to be more straight there. And I'm gonna kind of estimate here, look like about here. So I'm gonna check this because I don't want to cut it after I do it. And that's pretty good. Just a teeny weeny bit more I'll take off because you don't want it interfering with the sliding. So, all right. They say measure twice, cut once, right? So I'll just quickly add this little decorative ribbon. I think this adds a nice little feminine touch. This kit is pretty gender neutral in many respects, but if you want to make it girlier, nothing like a little sparkle, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna add this and right here. So this part, if it overhangs slightly, it doesn't matter. But again, you do not want it too close to these edges. So I'll just bring it up closer. You can see it. Isn't that cute? It's just a nice little touch. All right, so I will get to the stamping part now. On my original card, I did a few things that I wish I had done differently. For example, it's your birthday and the number would have been really cool here. So I'm probably not going to be putting this balloon right here because simply there's not enough space. Maybe it'll go up here and I can adjust this. So we'll have to see. And this is the kind of the optical illusion. It looks like one paper that's getting longer, but it's not. So very cool though. I just, again, really like this card design. It's too much fun. So let us get started. So we have our Flirty Flamingo, and these colors are listed here on the back here. Basic Black, Bermuda Bay, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, and Poppy Parade. So if you stick with that, it will definitely go with all of the cardstock. But this card, I actually could change it if I really wanted. And I think it would be cool too. But, okay, so I will put birthday first. We'll go ahead and stamp birthday first. And I'm trying to decide my color here. Maybe we'll go with yellow. Kind of neutral, more or less. I'm going to try to center this a little bit, but more to the right. Okay, a little crooked, but not too bad. Hopefully my niece will not be too particular. She isn't. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, well, I think I will do the one first. And we're going to go ahead and do that bold and bright. So she is going to be 19. There we go. And now the Bermuda Bay and the 9. Sorry if my head's in the way, but oh, cool. Very cool. So the next part is that little 19th, but we really do not have a lot of space there. Well, we'll try anyway. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that looks cool. So we're gonna now put happy here. Where's my happy? Oh, we're happy, happy, happy. And for this color, let's do the Daffodil Delight again. So it kind of ties the two together. Happy 19th birthday. I like that. We'll leave that like that. And now we can stamp up here. I'm gonna make sure this is straight. And anything that might be sticking will be taken care of as well. And then the final thing is we'll decorate on the front. Okay, so here we go. Today we celebrate you. Lots of hidden messages here, which is very cool, I think. As I was saying, I really do enjoy these fun folds. So give this one a shot. It's a lot easier than it might look. So don't hesitate. Oh, I didn't quite get that inked. So it's nice to look. And it's also nice to have a clear stamp. It's easier to see. And let's see, is there anything else? Oh, the party hat. Yes, we have to party. So I'm going to do that in the Flirty Flamingo. And we're going to just kind of put it right there on the top of the letters. And that is all for the stamping. That was a lot of stamping, actually. I won't worry about closing the whole thing. The next part is decorating this front. And I did a lot of the steps already, and I will try to just show you as quickly as possible. I don't want to make this video too long. So here are my boxes, if you will. And I use this from the Beautiful Bouquet framelits. I took this. So I just thought this added kind of this nice little touch. They do have bows in this set that are die cuts, but there are two things. It was a little big, I felt like. It kind of overpowered, took over the whole little gift box that I created here. And the other problem I had with it was that you would eventually run out of them. So that isn't too big of a deal, but the fact that it would kind of cover the whole thing, it was a little too much. So that's why I opted for this, but you could do the other, of course. All right, so I see I got a little ink there. We will get started. And of course, this kind of blends in more. So maybe that wasn't the best choice to do the box, but I didn't really think that through. I started this. Anyhow, oh well. We will get some dimensionals here because everything looks better popped up. Let me see. Okay, so I don't want to get too high on this part, but we want to definitely have it pop. Okay, so one more little baby one, and that should be good. So I don't know if anyone has been having issues with the Paper Pumpkin dimensionals, but if you do, make sure you let your demonstrator know and you can get a replacement. Just an FYI, they had problems for a 3-month supply. So I think the problem started in January and it continued. So this one I'm going to put over here, and this one I'm not going to pop up on dimensionals. So anyhow, if you do have that issue, be sure to contact your demonstrator about that, because it's been a problem. Just saying, it's been a problem. All right, so for coloring, I went ahead, they have a stamp for this right here, which I used, and I embossed it. So coloring it, I'm just using the dark Poppy Parade, I think there, and the Bermuda Bay. And this is the light Bermuda Bay, because I liked it. I like the light better than the dark for that part. Oh, I forgot my final little touch. Oh yeah. So I like this frame over it. I think it just draws your eye in, but I'm getting ahead of myself a little here. I'll just quickly get this part and then I will do the frame part, because that can be done at any point. Lucky me, because I was getting forgetful and forgetting that part. All right. So here we go. I'll just fussy cut this out real quick. And it's an easy one to fussy cut. I always like leaving a little border just so it doesn't look so jagged. Because if you try too hard sometimes to get too close, it looks all choppy. And we don't want choppy. So it's better to have a little white border, in my opinion, than try to go for broke and really get it close. Unless you have all day. Which, who does? Okay, so this one I'm just going to kind of put in on the box. So isn't that cute? I know this one blends in a little too much in a way, so I probably should have used a little different, you know, paper or something to, or had an outline, I don't know. But it's very cute. So next part is gluing this, and I'm just bringing my silicone mat in. And it has these are with the rectangle framelits. The second largest, so the second one and the third. It's a very thin one, which is why I'm having trouble talking and doing this. But you want to just make a very thin little line with your adhesive. I suppose you could use snail, but snail tends to kind of go too far on this particular one. So back to the liquid adhesive. So the only thing I want to make sure is I'm not into that tab little spot that I created. And I want to, of course, make it as straight as I can, which is not asking too much, is it? Okay. Perfection. That's what we all want, right? Isn't that cute, though, to add that little, it just kind of makes it more, I don't know, I like it anyhow. So the final thing is adding the ribbon at the top. So for this part, I would suggest holding it in place with some snail. And this was the, this is not cutting too well. This was a celebration item, ribbon, offered not this year, but the previous year. And I like using my retired stuff on Paper Pumpkin because Paper Pumpkin is just 1 month, and I usually give these cards. I don't do Paper Pumpkins for my classes, but I do Paper Pumpkin, you know, for giving to my family and friends. So if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna pop this kind of where I put my little marker, then add a little bit more, if I can do this. Again, it's hard to do stuff on the camera. Oh, it's not cooperating with me. Come on, snail. Just gotta talk to it, I think. Yes, that worked better once I had a little talking. Okay, now, another little tricky part to do on camera is I'm gonna just bring in my stapler and just staple as close as I to the part I want. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this and were inspired to try this little fun fold. So when it's pushed down, it looks like that, and you can write a note on the back of the card. I will bring in my original. So here's my original. I do love this gray stripes. I think it's great. So, you know that you have your base, which 2 sides. So instead of 1 card, you could get 2 out of this. Of course, you had to add some cardstock with the white in the slider part, but you know, something to think about. I think it's just really adorable. So here we slide up. One idea I had here was if you made a bunch of these pre-made, you could just stamp the number later on after the fact. So you can see how it kind of can get a little off track, but it's not too bad. So love it. If you like my tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'd love to hear your comments. And if you need to place an order, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com. I will also show one other card that I made earlier. And here again, I used this decorative ribbon punch. And I used their inside part for the cake. So lots of fun, this set. Great one to have. Really excited to have it. Thank you so much for watching and happy stamping.